What up, though, loved ones? 'Tis I, your guy, handsome Bane, compelling protagonist of Isla Power Claim, aka Captain African America, aka the Toxic Boxer, and Problematic Problem Solver. And depending on where you're listening to this, you're probably balling up your face like, who was this guy? I just told you, I'm handsome Bane, compelling protagonist of Isla Power Claim. Anyway, Maps wanted me to come on here and just say a few words as to just what kind of stuff is in store for you today. Honestly, when we started recording it, we had no idea how it was going to go. You know, it was a long day, and we were just going to talk 20 minutes about Ghostbusters #1. That's it. But we're humans with a friendship and common interests, and things went multiple directions. This is probably going to be the sweatiest, most nerdy episode of anything I've recorded in a long while, so it's going to be pretty random. So don't feel bad if you have to Google a couple of things, because there's a lot of deep cuts, most of which we go in depth to explain, thus the length of the episode. But there are some things that we kind of take for granted that the listener already knows. So if you need to take a couple seconds to just kind of wiki some of the stuff we're talking about, or just to fact check it, a lot of stuff I'm reading straight from the source. So like I said, don't feel bad if you don't know exactly what we're talking about, because we're literally looking up a lot of the stuff as we're talking about it. So we tug on some strings and start to unravel some sweaters. We create a whole ass weird cartoon conspiracy theory that ties Winston Zeddemore, the fourth Ghostbuster, as well as the greatest black man of all time, to the Green Lantern John Stewart, to Eric Draven from The Crow. It's also important to note that Ernie Hudson, the actor who plays Winston Zeddemore, was born in Benton Harbor, Michigan, which also weirdly possibly makes comedian Sinbad a part of all of this. I don't know, right now we're just throwing stones. But enough with the intro. Let's join ourselves in what I like to call a Qcast called Fresh. Get it? It's a mashup of our names. Get it? Anyway, take it away, us.
Hey y'all, it's a podcast called Fresh.
It's me, it's MAP, it's your man Miles Amadeus Prowerhead.
He gets it more than the rest of you. He's better at this than you.
With another quarantine cast for you and yours, and this time I had to bring some help. I got my man's handsome Bane here today.
That's right, it is I, Captain African America.
So we're here today to give y'all some entertainment, because we know a lot of y'all is quarantined and whatnot, and they were supposed to be quarantined. I'm about to touch on the debauchery that's been going on in the world. And this
niggas is wildin', bro. I'm watching everything going on back home, and I yelled at my mom today. Like, well, for one, my sister thought it would be cute to say that they were out at Belle Isle today, and my mom said that they weren't. I don't know if she was just saying that they weren't to, because roles reverse when you get older.
Oh yeah,
with your parents, and my mom is type 2 diabetic, and she's up there in age, and I'm like, I just know you wasn't at Belle Isle today.
I'm not even gonna have a conversation. I'm just saying I know you weren't there.
I just know you wasn't at Belle Isle, and so I wanted her to cook up a lie, at least. Which I don't know. I'm hoping that she was being honest, because her neighbors, well, my old neighbors down the street, have contracted COVID-19, and it's not cool because they up there in age.
It's this whole thing, man. It's just bananas, and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, and it's not too much shit that I will say I'm shook, but just the idea of knowing, like, you got kids, I got kids, just knowing that God forbid if one of our kids had got it. Nigga, they take an ambulance ride alone. They're in that room alone.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure, I spoke about this on the Cast. I'm pretty sure that my kids had it in like January.
Word down.
Which is fucking scary. when you consider that this monster had been in your home because, my little one, my 3-year-old, she was just like oven hot. Her temperature was way up for days. And, nigga was concerned because it's like, why am I being able to roast turkeys on my child's back? Because, it was not going down. And that was, kids get sick all the time. They get temperatures or whatever. But never had I, encountered something where it just would not go down the way it wouldn't go down. My 8-year-old, she kind of shrugged it off. I think she's, besides having like a snotty nose, her immune system is a lot like mine, where we can, if I catch the flu, I'm down for 2 days max because I'm, attacking it. And, I'm gonna sleep, I'm gonna sweat, and I'm gonna get up and, I hate not having my strength.
Dog.
Like those of you who don't, know me or have not seen me, if your listeners don't know me personally, haven't seen me, I'm a rather large, strong black man who like that's my bread and butter. Besides being able to, speak eloquently and not be an idiot, I kind of have always had that privilege of being like physically strong.
Yeah.
And when you don't have it, it's like, yo.
Like Superman with kryptonite in his pocket.
Yeah, like it was like Red Sun. Like it was like Red Sun Superman when I have the flu, where it's just like, dog, this is how y'all niggas live every day. Y'all can't bench. Like y'all can't do no push-ups, bro. Like this is how y'all live.
This is what it's like to be mortal, man. This is weak as hell.
This shit.
But it's just crazy, man. I know. Did you see the car chase up here on Facebook Live?
I think I might have. Yeah. It was insane.
It was insane, and it's almost to the point. It's like, dude, I'm so mad. You got people up here doing donuts. You got people, they busting up parties.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, you look at it, and you look at it as a species, as humans, and it's like I was telling my wife, I can see how God could just look at us from up there like, start over. Just start over, dog. Just what do we need? A flood. I don't care. Just start over, dog. Start over.
Yeah, and then that's how you get plagues and this kind of shit. And it's like, bro, we are like, it's Passover season.
Message.
It's
symbolism.
It's Jesus Day 2 coming up, man, like right around the corner. And yeah, man, this is on some biblical proportions. Like we used to have a bit, what would Old Testament God do?
Man.
And the plague is kind of straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and who was I was watching Zach Fox earlier today. He had a live maybe a couple days ago where he was talking about y'all's president Quattro Cinco. What if all of this, everything from like history leading up, everything in American history that happened was just one big lead up to him contracting the virus and dying in office. And he was like, dog, God, if that happens, dog, God is like a Breaking Bad writer, nigga. Like he says if everything from like slavery and everything was like all just
to a boiling point,
it was all just a plot point to make all of that worth this.
I can't argue with that, man.
Yeah, I don't be wanting to put them kind of thoughts and words out into space because I'm like, I very much believe in not karma, but all the red stuff that Jesus said in Matthew. So Jesus was spitting in Matthew.
So do you realize when I read the Bible and I was like, hey, dude, what's all this red stuff? Oh, yeah, every time Jesus talks, it's in red. What? Like, yeah, he gets a different color. Wow, he is the Son of God. Dog, that's him.
That's like spitting.
Was he like? He's like Deadpool in the Bible? Is it?
Right. Yo, for real.
His own fault. It just...
We had mad lyrics and yeah. But that's something, man. If we one day we just got to tear into like Bible stories. Bro.
Oh man, there's just
we definitely got to talk about how Job and we definitely got to talk about the Book of Job and how pretty much God and the devil made a bet over push-ups
I can't.
First chapter.
That's my favorite book of the Bible. Like
the devil literally walks into heaven and was like, "What's up, jerks?" You know what I mean? Like essentially, it was just like, "Hey, what's going on, what's going on, jerks?" And God just says, "What are you doing here? Or what are you up to?" And he's just like, what are you doing here, loser? You know what I mean? Like they're like frat brothers.
I picture just saying coming back like Jericho. The fact, even in the Bible, it said he tried to sneak into heaven amongst the groups of angels. Yeah. The logic of that, okay, fine. Is that God's like, I see you, dude. What's good? Oh, all right, you got me. What's good? And then he was like, hey, and then forgot to be like, hey, dude.
Satan, sandbagging son of a bitch. What are you doing here?
Hey, you know what I'm doing here, man. You know, hey, that Job, why don't you let me get him? And forgot to brag about him. Be like, hey, yeah, them humans are straight, but my homie Job, though.
He didn't even bring Job up. God did, bro. We're giving away too much content. But if y'all want to know what we're gonna do next, that's the next time I'm on this show. We're gonna talk about the Book of Job. So get read up. You know, it ain't gonna burn you if you touch the Bible. You just check it out.
Speaking of which, to make a segue, it's funny to tie up this quarantine shit. I made the mistake of calling my own man.
Okay.
A while ago. And just to call on him and check on him and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know, this and that. And, you know, you having the bullshit talk, you know, this and that. And at the end of it, he was like, yeah, you know, make sure you're safe. I'm like, yeah, because, you know, the end times is here. And it's time to separate the wheat from the shaft, son. And I'm like, Dad, I'm holding my son right now, dog. I don't want to think about this shit. Why does it have to be Armageddon? Everything's been leading up to this. Boy, get your life right.
I still wouldn't see my pops in them circumstances, probably, because that nigga be low. Be low as hell. Oh, God. I don't have a problem.
Oh, man. Okay, I guess moving right along, I got a list here. I was about to say fuck this list, but I just wanted to also touch on it's funny that the kids is out of school for a year. And I was telling my wife, and it's cool I could talk about this because you're on here. Do you remember when they had the school strike in the D?
Hell yeah.
Back in the day.
I was coming back from a Florida vacation. Well, not even a vacation. We had driven like some old folks down to a family reunion, and they like paid for us to exist. So that was like the coolest shit ever. So like every meal was at like a Shoney's buffet. So that shit was fire. And when we went to a hotel, like a Best Western or something that had like a pool outside. So nigga, I was 11. So I was living in a lap of luxury, and to come back from that, and it was like, yo, ain't no school. I was like, huh? What? And then I think later on that year, or maybe it might have been the year before, because I feel like I was in either 5th or 6th grade. But later on that year or the year before was the first time it had snowed so much that we got like 3 days out of school.
I just remember that whole time because like I was literally living the dream. And you know, you a kid, you have no concept of time. So I felt like I had like 8, 9 months. I was running wild. I remember me and Ray would.
It might have been like a week, and that shit was fire, nigga. Like,
oh man, because you know I went to Vernon, so Vernon was like right down the street from my house.
Yeah,
nigga, I went up there and cheered on the teachers striking. I was like, keep it up. Yes. Oh, I was living the dream, but it was so funny to me. I thought that was as close as we could have got to the sun. Because I was telling my daughter and everybody, like, I'm so bored. I'm like, you are living my wildest fantasy right now,
dog. Bro, I can't imagine.
You're walking on the sun.
I don't know when I noticed the time in between summer break and school, and like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it was high school, where I was just like, okay, I'm kind of ready to go back to school. I know at some point I'm going to hate it, but I'm kind of ready to go and see my friends on a daily basis and, you know, have to roast and be worried about niggas laughing at my FUBU pants or whatever. But like, It was a point in time where I was like, all right, that's enough not doing that. But I think, but as a younger child, like elementary school,
I'm like, bitch, I ain't learned nothing. No way.
Nah, my whole life was Alice Cooper School's Out for Summer, dog. I played basketball from like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, dog. Like, if your mom was talking about that, like, I remember when they had the heat wave. It was a really bad heat wave in Detroit.
That shit was fire. Nigga, we was doing water fights all day. Water bill was hiding a bitch.
Dog, and I remember it would be so hot, and it was so fun. I forgot all about this till I heard, I forgot where. I think it was at Neptune's album, in the Nerd album, Seeing Sounds. Mm-hmm. And I remember they was talking about, like, yeah, because that's back when our parents used to make you come in the house and take, like, cold showers and shit. And I remember, like, it was so funny because my mama, I knew that she would make me come in. They would have to trick me into coming into the house. Like, I was so bad. If I knew if I went to the bathroom, they would make me stay in the house. I almost found out I was pissing behind the garage.
Hell no. My mama, she just didn't want us in and out.
My thing was, like, I was out there so long, and it was like I looked like I was like a pig sweating in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And like I was like, just come in the house. I'm okay.
Oh yeah, they had to save you from yourself.
Yeah, they was trying to stop me from I was sweating sheets, dog.
Yeah.
Just coming out. I'm okay. Nobody outside. Let me just go around a couple more blocks. Like, I can find some kids. I sure can.
Dog,
in the noonday sun.
It was nothing worse than being in the middle of like a good game of anything. Turtles, basketball, football, whatever. And then your parents will call you in the house to eat. And then that was like everybody else's parents' cue to call their kids in to eat. And then you go back outside and then like it's just dead. You out there trying to resurrect it, going and knocking on niggas' doors. Niggas already got pajamas on.
Yeah, I used to hate that.
And mama's gonna use that shit to this nigga full. I'm about to get him in the tub and he going to bed. Immediately.
Don't you fuck this up for me. You get away from this door. Don't rile this boy up.
You the one that got you the honor student. Get the hell off my door. I'm like, damn, man. These niggas.
Do your mama know where you at?
Yeah, she right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mama know where I'm at. She always know where I'm at. Do you know where your kids are?
For real. But on that note, man, we're going to take a quick break, y'all, and then we're going to come right back to y'all with the meat and potatoes of this
mad
review of
nostalgia coming up, dog.
Mad. So we about to come back to you. My name is Miles Amadeus Prower. This is a podcast called Fresh, Qcast, Blerd Up.
Hello, this is former President Barack Obama, the greatest president of your lifetime. I wanted to take some time out of my busy schedule of doing nothing to tell you about Hyphen Podcast. Now, Kellen, while he hasn't always agreed with my policies, I still like the son of a and while I can't make you vote or listen to every podcast, please listen to Hyphen Nation, the world's greatest podcast. Take it from me, I killed Bin Laden's Trust my taste in podcasts. Hyphen Nation, featuring Kellen Conley and semi-regular co-hosts Marcus Sean Mallet Robinson. You know Kellen Pods, Marcus Wright. It's a better tandem than the 96 Chicago Bulls. And I know I killed Bin Laden. And Kanye West still jack. But for Michelle and the girls, all love to Hyphen Nation and the Hyphen Podcast group. And keep bringing your daughter on. She's beautiful. And I know. Well, you know.
No, kitty, it's my pot pie. It's a podcast called Fresh.
We are back. Podcast called Fresh. This is your boy Maps. That's your man Handsome Bane.
What up, though?
I'm about to defer to this man for this segment right here. We all making this on the fly. This is the fun part about it. So I'm gonna let you take it away, man. Go ahead, man.
All right, man. So we, we're both. I wouldn't consider myself a huge G.I. Joe fan. We just jumped right into the shits.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself a huge G.I. Joe fan, but just like as someone who appreciates mythos and mythology of a thing and world building, these niggas, dog, these niggas have put so much into this whole thing. Like, I grew up watching the, American Hero cartoon, starting in like the 80s. I wasn't, big on the Kung Fu grip and all of that growing up, but I did watch the cartoon until, I used to watch it like kind of religiously until my mother put me up on this shit where she says, did you notice that G.I. Joe gets popping pretty much every time that America gets involved in a war?
Mom was dropping some knowledge, dog.
What? She was like, now look at this. And she took it year by year. 83, we're here. 82, it was like 82, we're here. 85, we're in this war. Got to Get Tough, Yo Joe came out around 91, 90. Where were we at the time? Oh, a little thing called the Gulf War. You know what I'm saying? So it was around that time where she was like, yeah, this shit is a recruitment show. Like, this is a recruitment video. On the low. It's a recruitment video. So, you know, like Cobra had all these different looks. All the characters in Cobra had like all these different looks. I mean, essentially white men, but like, you know, they had a little mix, you know. The Joes, fatigues, American flags, guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, fatigues, American flags, white guys, blonde guys, brown hair guys. Anyway, what you and I often find like way more interesting than the Joes is going to be the Joes. They're vanilla as hell. They got the fatigues and the camouflage and the green vehicles and all that.
Yeah.
The star of this show is obviously Cobra Commander.
Oh, you know it.
And Cobra, like, they're way more interesting. They got more factions. They're more interesting. Their rank and file is just way more interesting as far as, so look at all these guys at the top, like the high command. You got Cobra Commander, Serpentor, who, you know, Cobra Commander pretty much had to train.
He trained his replacement.
This nigga trained his replacement. Destro, or James Cullen Destro the 14th. I'm sorry, James Cullen Destro the 24th. This nigga comes from a long lineage of Destros.
His backstory is so ill.
A Scotsman who is depicted as wearing a metal mask, which enabled a form of nanotech or liquid metal. In the cartoon, the mouth of the mask moves. Destro, an arms dealer, often attempts to usurp leadership of Cobra. Destro is the hereditary leader of Mars Military Armaments Research Syndicate and uses his personal army, the Iron Grenadiers. Jeez.
These guys are official.
Like, everybody got a squad. Baroness Anastasia de Cobra. You know what I'm saying? This bitch was born to do it.
Niggas got resumes, dog.
It's like this world building and just these characters are so fleshed out, like, over the years. And so, I really was like, you know, when just looking at this is the top. Like, Tomax and Zaymot, twin brothers and leaders of the Crimson Guard. They're basically, like, one of the questions was how do they fund all of this shit? It's Tomax and Zaymot.
Straight.
I'm sorry, the twins run a corporation named Extensive Enterprises and are known more for their skills in the boardroom rather than on the battlefield. These niggas are the front for Cobra's illicit business affairs, dog. Like, that's how they do it. Shit is amazing, dog. Like, oh my God. So yeah, speaking, and to me, that I find that's the most interesting thing we're talking about. They also mention Major Blood. Shout out to Major Blood. I think it's like just a mid-level boss. Zark.
Yo, my bad, man. My shit had just cut out for a second, man. My bad. But I don't know. I just lost like 5 seconds. My bad. But I don't know if you had touched on my nigga Dr. Mindbender. But did this nigga used to be a dentist?
My nigga
Dr. Mindbender was a dentist. Oh my God, I want to know his backstory so bad.
He created several mind control devices and was also an expert on genetic manipulation, of course. He was the blueprint behind Serpentor. He was responsible for the creation of Serpentor and the Cobra Bat, as well as perfecting the brainwave scanner, though usually depicted as quite
That's
muscular.
A hell of a leap.
Mindbender is portrayed as being cowardly and preferring to avoid physical confrontation. So this nigga's just D's for nothing. This nigga is a mad scientist who lifts.
How do you go from dentistry to mind control and genetics?
Bro, this dude lifts weights and he does his mad science with a cape and no shirt. That nigga wild as hell, dog. That nigga Dr. Mindbender wild as hell. I I would like to know where these niggas bought their cocaine when they came up with these characters, dog. This nigga got purple pants. It
had to be Frank Lucas and George Young, dog.
Oh my god, dog. This nigga. Dr. Mindbender. I just looked him up. It's just like, if you listen, we're in quarantine right now, and I hear people saying that they're bored. This is an afternoon. Just go down the rabbit hole of Cobra's rank and file, as they have here, Cobra Troopers.
This junk is so deep, dog.
Like, they really, really fleshed this whole thing out. So, we're looking at the Crimson Guard here, led by Tomax and Zaymont. These elite soldiers were first introduced to the series in 1985. It said that in addition to intense military training, of course, they are required to have a degree in either accounting or law, and are often used in deep cover operations, posing as civilians or politicians. What?
Dog, this is how did they lose?
How did they lose?
How is Cobra losing?
Bro, how did they? Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like they lose battles, but then they still got people plugged in on the low. So are they?
That's how they need to do it in the movie. Like, they're winning the war, and all the battles is a distraction.
All the little scraps is like, yeah, okay. As another part of their deep cover operations, many Crimson Guardsmen undergo plastic surgery in order to adopt identical features in case one CG is required to replace another in public cover. Dog, these niggas are a Hydra, bro. Like, they are fucking.
They need to be fighting Batman.
Oh my god, dog. These niggas are Leviathan, bro. Like,
dog, this is beautiful how deep this is. Dog.
Also maintain Cobra's legal business fronts. Wow. And
so, like, they're out there suing niggas.
Yes. Like, oh, not only are they suing niggas, let me take you down this rabbit hole of the bases. Okay, we often speak on how Cobra's like, yo, how did these niggas find us? But they got a big golden cobra on the top of a mountain, and wonder how they all how G.I. Joe finds
these
them.
Sons of bitches find us?
Who is tipping these niggas off to our locations? Like, nigga, it's a
giant golden cobra.
It's a gigantic golden cobra, like a fucking 50 meters high. How long did that take to make?
Like the statue of Jesus in Brazil.
Right. The Holy Redeemer. Come on, bro. All right.
Dog,
here's the thing I know is going to blow your entire mind. Cobra Island. All right. The primary base of Cobra operations. It was created after a massive man-made earthquake. Cobra lawyers, well prepared. Cobra lawyers. We've established that they have niggas with law degrees on staff. Well prepared, moved in, and had it declared a sovereign nation.
Why wasn't this an episode, dog?
I'm pretty sure it's in the comics. It has to be in the comics.
It had to be. Yeah.
It's like, no, dog, make that the show. It was the battlefield for the Cobra Civil War, which we need to see, and the battle against the Coil. After Cobra disappeared for several years, the island was seized by the United Nations. It then came under control under the Coil, then Cobra, and was finally destroyed by a nuclear warhead, which also killed every member of the Coil. Jesus.
That's a movie unto itself.
Yeah, I want to see that Civil War. I don't give a shit about the shows. Like, there's a white guy.
I just want to see like some fucked up shit happen and Cobra move in legally.
Yes,
and
the law.
Just
just Cobra lawyers moved in and had it declared a sovereign nation. Dog, that shit is so fire to me, dog. Like, I love when these like super far-fetched comics that like have no base in reality, like all of a sudden somebody thinks of the legal ramifications of what that would entail with something like, yo, they could be a sovereign nation, and they use that terminology.
That's to me, that's true evil. That's true evil.
Exactly.
To me.
Something that I think true evil is something that you can declare legal. Because we always had, we black, we understand that there are, people follow the law because it's the law. But then it's like, no, nigga, there are just laws and there are unjust laws. And these niggas are just worming their way around what the Constitution has deemed as right, or the UN Charter has deemed as right. Oh my God.
Did you read this shit about Springfield?
Yes. Here we go. Springfield, a small, rather anonymous town in the U.S., which, of course, there are 1 million Springfields in the United States, which Cobra secretly operated as a base. Wow. Dog, wait a minute. Let's look at how generic that is. Almost every state has a
geniusly generic.
How geniusly generic. Nobody would check that. Oh, Springfield, Kansas? Sure. Springfield,
yeah, where to find it?
Maine? Whatever, sure. I'm sure it exists. Wow. So the town was poor and desperate when the man who would become Cobra commander arrived. He became the town's savior, and it was there that he started Cobra. Dog.
This is like a Messiah tale, dog.
Like, how many towns right now are that desperate? Like small, unincorporated territories that like lose their citizen. I mean, their cityhood would take that offer. Like somebody could sweep into Highland Park right now and do the same exact thing.
Word. You guys need a police department?
Yeah, they don't have a police department. You could sweep into town. Anybody with enough money to like do that could sweep into Highland Park and come to power and just get a foothold somewhere in a base of operations by just going in there and like, I'll have one town, please. Many covert operations were held there, including the creation of Serpentor, which in turn led directly to the town's population being evacuated to Cobra Island, where the Joes confronted Cobra. In the 2-part Sunbow produced episode, There's No Place Like Springfield. I can't believe they titled the episode that. The town existed on an island and was known as Temple Alpha. Springfield was actually a facade for an underground Cobra training facility. However, unlike the comics, the town above the ground was populated primarily by synthoids.
That is so 80s.
So extremely 80s. And I love how 80s it is and how like this could, because, you know, like they're still writing G.I. Joe. And so they can like take it from that 80s, that delicious 80s cheese and still take it and mold it into something that is like relevant by today's standards. Because I decry a lot of reboots, but there are still a lot of reboots written by people like us who grew up with a thing, who played with those toys.
Word.
And made those episodes that were, I'm sure, like way better than anything that they came up with on the cartoons, because we gave a shit. And when we got older, you know, we still love this stuff. I got a Megatron t-shirt I haven't worn yet, that, you know, because I fucking love Transformers. I love Megatron. I love Skeletor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we were the ones to give them those stories, because now, I mean, back then they were toy commercials, you know, and we as children didn't care because we wanted to see niggas play with our toys. You
ideas. Yeah. This is, you
know. Hell yeah. I want to see the new toy cartoon character come on to the cartoon and show me, you know, give me some ideas on how to play with this. And now those same kids who played with those toys back then and who took, you know, years and years to think about, well, what would that entail? How came they by these inventions and these, you know, murder machines pretty much, and how in the hell did they lose?
Duh, they need to reboot this. We gonna pitch. They need to reboot. They need to do another movie, but they need to not do it like, you know, it should be like Springfield. But you wouldn't know it was the Rise of Cobra until the end of the movie. Yeah. And that would, because it's like, dog, because you think about it, even now, like with just how they run stuff, like Cobra would own Instagram or some shit on the low.
Man, that's what I'm saying. And that's it. It needs to almost be like not Black Mirror, but almost like that technology horror kind of this could really happen kind of thing that makes you, you know, that does make it feel like this could happen and it's around the corner. That to me is like the scariest shit. And speaking of Black Mirror and Instagram, you know, the episode with the stars or whatever, the 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, the social media thing that they were using. You know who wrote that episode?
Who?
Rashida Jones.
Word?
I just found out about that the other night, that Rashida Jones wrote that episode. Rashida Jones put her ankles in that episode.
That's why it's funny. I was telling my wife, it's funny. You see her, you wouldn't know that she was Quincy Jones' daughter.
Right.
And I was like, it's just so funny. It's like she's a great actress too.
She's amazing, dog. Like I was watching that. It was the lie detector test thing from Vanity Fair with her and Amy Poehler, and then Amy Poehler brought it up and was like, "Yeah, you wrote the episode of whatever on Black Mirror," and she was like, "Yep, nigga, you did that." Like, dog, that's one of my absolute favorite episodes. But yeah, like if Cobra could come to power, and like
now would be the time.
Yeah,
like Bernie drops out, then you just hear like Cobra. Because I'm telling you, dog, the debates between them and Trump, that would be even playing ground.
I could see them coming on TV being like, "Good job, 45," and then smoking that nigga on the spot, and then stepping up to
disintegrating right his ass.
Wow. Nah, not like disintegration. Like it's like how you feel about the disintegration in Infinity War. No, that's
touche. Well played. You want people to deal with that shit.
Yeah, no, I want to see it. Well, I'm not gonna say I want to see it, but
like Dave Chappelle when they killed the slave master.
Yeah, it's more important if they see the body. It's like, yo, this nigga eyes is rolling in the back of his head right now. This nigga chest is smoking.
That would be that is crazy because this just reminded me. I seen this thing earlier about. Have you seen Terminator Salvation?
No.
Oh, well, you're lucky. Oh, anyway, in the Terminator, sum it up, Terminator Salvation. They were talking about how the original ending, how it was so much better than what had happened. And what happened was the original ending was supposed to have been the other Terminator. He didn't know he was human. Blah blah blah. John Connor gets killed and he dies.
Yeah,
so John Connor. But they say, but they don't bring him back. What happens is they take his face and puts it on the robot's body, so people still think John Connor is still alive. Then after they do that, the Terminator's termination thing sets off, and then John Connor starts killing everybody.
Oh shit!
And they said that would make it so anything could happen in the next movie. Then they was like, you could come back and have it be John Connor as a bad guy in the end because it's a Terminator with John Connor's face on it.
Right.
And I was like, dog, that was so dope. But
see that's what happens when time travel is the base of your story.
True.
Because then it's just all kinds of fuckery, and then there's never a way to end it because it's like, but what if this happened? Like it's, you try to paint yourself out of a corner and then you just make it more convoluted. Like I was just watching the go circle it back around the Cobras, the snake episode on Rick and Morty, where they give Snake. Oh,
I haven't seen that whole one yet. I gotta watch that
show,
man.
Oh my god, dog. These niggas, like they Morty messed up and gave snakes the ability to time travel, and they ended up becoming like hyper advanced, and like there was there's like a part where like in order to undo that, they have to go even further back in time to like Snake MIT. To give them to teach, they just lay a book on the table with time travel on it, and like it is so fucking ridiculous, bro. Like they was just like, you know what? If enough of these snakes keep going back in time and killing each other, it'll sort itself out. It's just like, after a while, man, Terminator just got to do that shit, bro. It's just like,
yeah, it just. I think they should have ended it when they got to the point when it was like Skynet is the internet.
Yeah, after 3, I was like, well, that's it. Like,
you can't go no further. And I would say this credit to Terminator 2, which low key, if you and if anybody haven't watched that movie in the last 5 to 10 years, go back and watch it again. The movie, I guarantee you, is better than you think it is. And it's just like, dude, the dude who played T-1000, his commitment, he said he worked on not blinking. Like they say, he practiced on reloading the gun without blinking.
He was legit scary, bro. Robert Patrick did his thing.
Nightmare fuel.
And then, he went on to be typecast as a villain in every single thing he was in after that. But, he was fucking, I'm trying to remember how old I was when I saw that, but it was definitely like, all right, dog, you got it, fam. This nigga is...
He changed the way we ran forever.
Yeah, for real. And I just remember being stressed out by like, how are they going to get rid of this nigga, bro? Like, I know the good guy's supposed to win, but it was like the first time, I really had doubts. Like, there ain't no way they could kill this nigga. This nigga's unstoppable. Yeah. And he was everywhere. Like, when he pried open the elevator door and jumped on top of the elevator, first of all, I'm like, ain't no way y'all niggas got that door to close that fast. and just like stabbing through the top. I was like, man, he was on their ass like white on rice, dog. Like,
yeah, he was like a machine, like a crazy machine. That shit is scary.
Like, it was like very hard for them niggas to breathe in that movie, man. Where it was just like, dog, this nigga is everywhere, dog. Like, how? Just chasing down the car, just how he was on top of them in the elevator, in the steel plant, just like, bro, like, really? And the fucking
his hands turned into swords.
Hands turning into swords, hands turning into crowbars, like, just like his ability to just always have the tool he needed. And the truck, like, this nigga was just really held back by nothing, dog. Like,
and the funny thing about it was, since we're going with the whole Wikipedia and stuff, in the history of the mythos of Terminators, they stopped making T-1000s after that because they said every time they made a T-1000, they became self-aware and eventually started helping the humans. And because the Terminators realized they had nothing for the T-1000, it was like, it's nothing you could do to that mother. You were saying, like, dude, he could turn into a cup. It's nothing you can do to him. Like, if y'all ever get a chance, read the Wikipedia for that shit. It's scary.
Like, this nigga turned into the floor. And then also just run top speeds of fucking 80 miles an hour, basically. Like, he was on their ass like white on rice, dog. Like, if you go into the movie thinking like, dog, this nigga does not, it's very rare that there's 5 feet in between him and them.
Like, without an explosion.
Without an explosion, bro. If you ain't got explosive shells, this nigga is there.
Like, he has the determination, like they, what was that shit? The Teen Titans Go movie, when they had Batman was chasing them, and that's literally how T-1000 was. Like, he was chasing them in the car. You blow up the car, he's on a bike. You blow up the bike, he's just running. Then it's like, even when he doesn't have any legs, he's pulling himself. That scared that gave me nightmares for it.
Oh yeah, the nitroglycerin, bro. The liquid nitrogen.
Yeah,
man, I was like, all right, dog, and they stood there like, though, is that it?
Nah, man, nah. The only beef I have with that I can say off the top of my head, the thing that irked me about it is the scene when they was in the metal plant or whatever, and he stabs Sarah Connor through the arm, and then he says, "Call for him," but you can imitate people's voices, right? So, like, what would be the point of her doing it? But
and then he flat out like turns into her. I'm like, well, nigga, kill her.
Yeah, you should have just killed her and turned into her.
Right.
But that movie was the shit because it solidified. I was like, dog, moms can protect you from moms are the shit. I love the hell out of my mom after that even more.
Yeah, it was around that time when they first started like being like, hey, wait a minute, girls can be badass too. And it was like, you had your Louise Ellis Ripley. You had your Sarah Connor, who didn't wait until the second movie to become badass. She killed her first Terminator in ballet flats, nigga, in like a
hell yeah,
pretty much like Forever 21 dress and shit. So, it was like that. From what we saw her in the end of the first one to what we see at the beginning of the second one was like, holy shit, like
she became badass, man.
Linda Hamilton, man. If I ever meet her, like, and she aged like I would expect Sarah Connor to age. Like, she's
in real life, yeah, for real.
Her face gotta be like sandpaper, bro. Like, she ain't got time to be cute.
True grit, dog. That's just I think of grit.
The old lady seen it all, bro. Like, that's what I loved. Like that, I was like, man, look, Sarah Connor, listen.
And if it wasn't for her, there'd be no Laura Croft.
No, I don't be rooting for no white women, but all right.
I fucks with Sarah Connor, dog.
For real.
Shoot, we about to take this break real quick, man. Then we gonna come back with the tail end of this with this review of Ghostbusters 1, man. Be right back. Blerd up.
What's good? My name's Quentin. and I'm the newest sponsor of a podcast called Fresh. I'm sure you're asking yourself, what did this brother do? I'm glad you're thinking that. I reduce the stress as well as provide good mental health to the community. That's right, your boy Q sells medical cannabis. And before you go judging, we live in Detroit, so it's legal here. I got Kush, OG, OG Kush, Diesel, Diesel Kush, Undertaker, Undertaker Kush, even some of that HBK too. We got that Trump Kush. You know that shit smells good, but smokes like Reggie's. We got that Pokemon Kush for you niggas playing Sword and Shield. I even got the rare shiny Pokemon Kush too. So hit me up on Facebook or get my number from Miles. Thanks for your time. I'm Quentin.
We the guys that do our job. Y'all must be the other one. It's a podcast called Fresh Bitches.
We are back again. Qcast, podcast called Fresh. And, you know, it's like a podcast, whatever. I'm Maps. That's Bang. We about to do this review for Ghostbusters 1. Now, when I heard about this, I seen somebody talk about it on Facebook, and I know my man Bang was one of the first people. I never really was real big into Ghostbusters. Grew up during the 80s. We all loved the Ghostbusters, you know what I'm saying? But I never really thought about my man Winston.
Yeah.
Like my man Bang had said it, you know, because I'll let you tell it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
no, you know, upon watching just that first interview in the Ghostbusters 1 movie, and for, you know, clarity, we're talking about Ghostbusters Year 1, the comic. But in the movie, like the first, when we're introduced to Winston, he's a black man trying to get a job, nigga. And how many of us can relate?
Word.
When you got to go, he didn't quite, the dopest shit. Okay. And this is why I give him this moniker. I say that Winston Zeddemore is the greatest black man of all time. I am including Martin and Malcolm. I'm including Prince, all them niggas, dog. This nigga,
and you can't argue it.
This nigga was the realest nigga ever, bro. They could win. And we get a lot of the background on like just him coming into the firehouse for his interview with Janine. Just like the stuff that he had done and, you know, leading up to that question and how he got hired and like how he's just like a valued member of the team. Because, you know, if you watch the first movie, it's like, bro, this nigga just shot his driver. You know what I mean? Because I always have to correct people, bro. People start, or when you watch anything about Ghostbusters and they just have the three white dudes, and it's like, bruh, like, and I get it. These guys are all comedy legends or whatever. I watched SCTV growing up, sure. I watched SNL growing up, sure. But we ain't gonna disrespect Winston Zeddemore no more, dog. Like, I ain't gonna act like the brother wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, it really does, it shows you that, and I like that. Like, first off the bat, my man's from Michigan, which I just thought was just ill. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, I love him even more.
When he was from Michigan, I remember just saying like, of course. A fucking course. Of course this nigga from Michigan. Of course he's either from Detroit, Flint, or
blue collar as hell, dog.
Than a mug. And he was like one of my inspirations for when we started talking about the character Blue Collar Washington, which one day we're gonna drop on y'all when y'all ready for.
Oh man, y'all ain't ready for that, dog. That's been like almost a decade in the making.
That nigga so flushed out. I got
yeah.
That's exactly what our guy Blue Collar Washington would do, bro. Like,
yeah, I love the fact that they talk about, you know, his backstory, and he had a job being a construction worker.
Well, they talk about being a Marine.
Yeah, fine. He was a Marine first. My bad.
And then Morales, he's doing an interview with the paper. Was it the paper or was it like the news or something? And this right after the first movie. And then she refers to it. She was like, well, how does an ex-Marine come in? He's like, well, first of all, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine. I'm like, say that shit.
He's about that life.
So he's in the same, it's him, it's Jon Stewart. Imagine all of niggas in the same unit, nigga. Like,
they need to be like a movie with all somebody's uncle or something.
They were barbecue and them niggas was there. And they talk about Semper Fi when them niggas went to high school together. No, wait a minute. Bro. Where is Jon Stewart from?
Ain't he from
Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! We just made a head cannon, bro. Like, holy shit! John Stewart, the Green Lantern, and we're from Detroit. And Ernie Hudson played the detective in The Crow.
Oh, that's my movie.
Who was from
Detroit.
Dog.
Another great Detroit movie, y'all. If you have never seen, like, on the low, that whole stuff about Devil's Night is true.
We did it. We just cracked the case, bro. This nigga Winston Zeddemore went back to Detroit to be a cop and help The Crow.
It all makes sense, dog.
He already listen. She asked him, "Do you believe in UFOs, astral projection, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness monster, and the theory of Atlantis?" This nigga said, "As long as there's a paycheck in it,
paycheck
anything you say." And this nigga went on to help The Crow. The harbinger of the spirit of the Crow energy or whatever. So the spirit of
dog, that is a direct correlation. Dog. We cracking it open, dog.
When I woke up this morning that we was gonna do this shit, dog. We're not only gonna find a link between Winston Zeddemore and The Crow, but we were also going to place Winston Zeddemore and John Stewart, Green Lantern, one of the greatest Green Lanterns, in the same fucking city in headcanon. Dog, we did it.
For real, man. They need to forget RoboCop. Put a statue of one of them niggas up.
They thought they could hide it from us, bro, but it was right there.
That's what happened when you get quarantined, dog.
Holy shit. This is what happened when we put our differences aside.
True indeed, dog. This is just one episode, dog.
Hell no. Winston Zeddemore.
Get the money together, Kale. Get us a podcast, man. We'll kill world hunger, dog.
We could do it. This nigga is really wow. Damn, bro, I just amazed myself, man.
Oh yeah, I'm
about to go live on Instagram. And meet me there, nigga.
Go break the Instagram with that, man. Oh man, yeah, I was thinking of a great review for shit. We could just stop right there, damn near. Jesus Christ,
we only got a little bit left, man. We might as well.
Yeah, we only got a little bit, yeah. But I guess moving along, one thing I like about this, I like how it was showing how, like, just by the numbers, my man Winston was the most capable Ghostbuster they had, but they didn't, like, put it all in your face. They just made it very logical. It wasn't all super, like, look, we're doing something inclusive. It was like all of them were just, you see everything, like, I was a Marine, I did this, I do that. Even from when they was doing the Ghostbusters and stuff, my man was like, I'm not scared. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And I like how they did that. You know what I'm saying? It was real.
All right, no, I'm just telling Instagram that Winston Zeddemore is the greatest black man in history, and I'm about to pin
it. Yeah, you got that pinned, dog.
Yeah, I got a pin. Holy shit. I'm telling Instagram, we have not only pinpointed exactly why Winston Zeddemore is the greatest black man in history of all time. We've also made a correlation between him and The Crow, Winston Zeddemore, and we've also placed him and Green Lantern John Stewart in the same city at the same time. So y'all think about that and wait for the pod when we explain it to y'all. Oh,
it's similar. I gotta hurry up. We gotta hurry up and drop this mug, then. Dog. Oh, I gotta have Raul hurry up and get to mixing this shit underlay.
That shit racist.
We cool like that, you don't mind.
That nigga from El Salvador and shit.
It's cool. It's cool. You know, niggas it's cool. It's all love. It's all love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, but you know, not only was Winston Zeddemore a Marine, he was a very capable Marine. He was apparently, you know, he was able to use a proton pack like it was a regular pistol. He was like up and running in 15 minutes. So the other thing I liked about this book, like right off the bat, they were interviewing like a couple of side characters from the movies, and they went to the Sedgwick Hotel with Bennett Davis. One thing I always wondered was after they left, trying to, you know, after they trapped Slimer and they tore up the hotel and all of that, I always wondered how their business did right after. Like I always was like, yo, they have to be ruined. And he was like, the initial charges were, unacceptable, but, an uptick in our, as being their first clients, an uptick in like tourism and shit went up, and we're booked through next fall. So I thought that was dope because I definitely wondered about that.
I like that. Here's a question for you. Do you think Slimer is like to other ghosts? Do you think they consider him like a coon?
He's definitely a coon. Slimer, dog, I fucking hate Slimer so much, bro. That nigga's a ghost coon. Is
he's a ghost blackface then. So
yeah, he's in green face. If that nigga had legs, he would be tap dancing all the time for food.
Man,
Slimer the ghost is the ghost coon of the ghost world, and I know every other ghost out there gozer all of them to see him as like a traitorous, just a traitorous shucking and jiving, just the worst kind of ghost, nigga. Like all he wants to
he has to be like the Flavor of ghost to them. Then
Flavor ghost, dog. That nigga's the worst. I hate him. Like I would, if I could shoot Slimer in the back, I would. He's a fucking dog. He's such a sellout, bro. Like he is, dog. Pet, dog. Like nigga, you used to be out here, dog, just free eating whatever you wanted.
He like, nah, they give me free food. I'm here, and I help you catch them.
Dog, right. Hey, Slimer. Yeah, Slimer was helping them catch ghosts and shit. Like, dog, Slimer, you a cool nigga.
He had nothing invested in it, dog.
You can just fly off and go eat food wherever you want, dog. But you gonna sit here and trying to be friends and begging and putting your head down so they'll pat you on the top of the head. You gross, cool ghost ass.
Yeah, he's got to be the sellout of ghost.
Sellout ass ghost. God, that nigga's the worst, bro. Yeah, Slimer.
I always wondered that. I always wondered like the other ghosts look at when they see him like, bitch.
They made Slimer in the likeness of John Belushi. No, my man Ken. So then I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
They made Slimer in the image of Flavor Flav too, man. Just running around doing whatever the white man telling him to do.
Boy. Oh man,
I can help you catch ghosts of balls. Like, I be going through the walls. Like,
so he would be the equivalent of like Diamond and Old Girl for
he's the Diamond and Silk of ghosts. He's the honeycut. That one character that David Alan Grier played on SNL that sang "Yes Indeedy Doddly Do."
Oh my God, that is him. You can rub on my head.
I'm not your equal. I don't mind. I don't have to dine with you. And they said, I'll swing from trees. I'll get on my knees and sing "Yes Indeedy Doddly Do." I was like, bro.
That is probably one of my all-time favorite episodes of Saturday Night. Dog, it's like anybody, if you know us, we've been quoting the Maya Angelou poems from Saturday Night Live.
Toucan Sam, you leap on the back of the wind. Nigga said,
oh my God.
Said, the orange, the apple, the pomegranate, the quince. Like, no. The kumquat, the kiwi. Nigga, ain't none of that shit in Fruit Loop. Toucan Sam. All right, dog. We off the rails.
Yo, Fruit
man.
Okay,
Fruit Loopies. Give us loops of fruit.
You have to listen, y'all. Y'all have, and we're not just saying that because he's from Detroit. We from Detroit. That is possibly one of the funniest episodes.
It's incredible
ever. Just the Pennzoil.
When he sang about the free party on Capitol Hill, that shit was funny. He was killing that night, man. I think David Alan Grier put in a hell of a performance that night.
I've only seen the episode like 3 times. Like I would pay to own that episode.
Yeah, no, for real, because I can't find that Honeycut episode nowhere. Hold on, my nigga can't want to jump in on here.
What's up?
Hey nigga, bring some hot. Never mind.
Oh man,
did I not? Oh, there you are. Oh, what up, nigga?
Who are you talking to? I'm watching this thing. I'm like, this man is just talking. I don't know who he's talking to.
Nah, bro. I'm on. I'm doing a pod with a podcast called Fresh right now.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Nah, you good? Can you hear? Are you picking up his audio?
I can hear it.
Okay, well.
I'm only picking up. I can't hear anything from.
No, you can't. But yeah,
That's fair.
we was about to wrap it up anyway because we just worked out our headcanon that Winston Zeddemore from Ghostbusters and Jon Stewart of the Green Lantern Corps, like because they were both in the Marine Corps, we have them like closely related somehow because they were both Marines. That it's because the character Winston Zeddemore we just found out is from Michigan. And then he also played a Detroit cop in The Crow. So, yeah. So, yeah. And he's the greatest black man of all time.
Easily.
See? Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What? That's everybody's uncle. That's everybody's uncle they wish they had, even though they probably got uncles like him. They wish they had them. Yeah.
And what I love, and the other thing that I love about this character, Winston Zeddemore, is that he's a stand-in for the viewer. He's relatable for everybody, but especially black people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's seeing this stuff, and it's like when he has to bridge that gap between the Ghostbusters and the guy from the EPA who's just like, oh, they've got everybody on gas or whatever. And it's like, nah, nigga, like, this is happening. You know, like, for him to, it kind of was like, all right, well, he's not, well, I guess he's like somewhat religious from what we were able to pick up, or at least he's from a religious background.
Religious,
but, like,
I feel like every black person to some degree is religious, as much as I hate to say it. Like, not like religious, but spiritual.
Yeah. Well, you have some, it's like
superstition.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just or at least we are related to somebody who is, or related to somebody who is too religious, and so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we all have had some sort of, at least a brush with religion. Yeah, man, I know about some Jesus, man.
Oh man, dog.
You got a Jesus relative. Everybody's got a Jesus relative.
Yeah, we got us some Jesus, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now turn all that stuff off when it's raining, when it's thundering outside. The Lord is doing His work.
Me and my grandma used to go at it, dog. She was like, "You don't get struck by lightning. Do you know anybody who did?"
That my gout would go away, but it takes a few days to hear the prayer.
It take about 6 to 8 business days, baby, for the Lord to answer your prayer.
I prayed to God that my package would come.
If he prayed on a Sunday, he don't take him till Monday.
Well, you see, because the Lord, what happened with the Lord on Sunday, he resting, baby. You can't be talking to the Lord on his resting day.
On his resting day, but I got that package in 2 business days. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Hey, and while we're here, you can edit this, but I don't care. You can edit, you can keep it. The reason that Southern Church and Black Church, by extension, lasts so long is because that's like the only time on Sunday where slave masters would be like, dog, y'all ain't gotta work so long as y'all at church. And niggas was like, nigga, if we get out of here at noon, they're gonna make us work. So we gonna stay in here all day. If anybody else got something they want to say about God?
Yeah. That's why the song Amen has no words. You can sing that song forever, dog.
Dog, he's so right. This nigga Map said that's why Amen has no words. The song Amen.
You can just sing that shit forever, dog.
You can just keep singing it.
But that's one of the biggest things I love about Black folks, especially Black folks around that time, because there were so many like mini revolutions that weren't like necessarily like, obviously we didn't do. Not that we didn't do anything, but we weren't in a position to do much aside from run or die.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
there are these stories that I hear or I learn about where it's like the capoeira for like 5-6 years, and I learned that like basically that was the reason why it looks like a dance is because the slaves didn't want the slave drivers to know that they were learning how to fuck them up.
Right.
And they did.
Right.
So, and it's like these little things where it's like, yo, black ingenuity is fun. That shit is real.
Oh, yeah.
We get that with this character of Winston Zeddemore because we're reading Ghostbusters Year 1, where they give us just a little bit more background on him. And again, just him being able to bring that black ingenuity, that, you know, that know-how, that ability to just, you know, like white dudes can be mediocre on a job, and black dudes, we have to.
Oh, you hit it on the head.
And I'm talking about black men. Black women got to be 4 times better than white people to get a quarter of the way. And they always fucking are. And so when we get this character of Winston Zeddemore doing, you know, just like literally having 15 minutes of training, 2 days on the job before he goes into the field, being the first one to run into the ghost that they're hunting the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe in this book. You know, if you want to check that out and see how that goes. But just that's the way that shit always happens, dog. Like,
dog, you peep how when Poe went after him, my man Winston said, "Oh hell no." And opened fire.
Yeah. He literally said, "Oh hell no," and I was here for it. That's the one.
And opened fire.
Yeah. Nigga was spot on.
But yeah, I was gonna say one of my favorite quotes is when they was taking down the monster or whatever after Poe left, and they was like, "Are you scared?" Yeah. My man Winston said, "You're right, I'm afraid." He said, "But if you ain't afraid of a dangerous situation, you've not taking it seriously enough." And I'm like, man, that doesn't sound like everybody's father or uncle at one point, man.
Yo, for real. Because we're so, you know, we're always taught to, oh, you a hoe if you scared. And I was like, nigga, you just smart if you scared because you make less mistakes when it forces you to be careful and like, you know, figure this out instead of going headlong into things. But yeah, definitely that is, because you feel like the other Ghostbusters was like, yo, are y'all not scared? Like, I get it that y'all have more knowledge on this situation, but it's like, fuck it, nigga, I gotta get paid, man.
Yeah, like, it's a check. I'm with it, dog. He's like, if I gotta kill a ghost, I gotta kill a ghost to get this money.
I gotta kill a ghost.
And to bring it back to what you said, and I like how the whole underlying thing, and I love how they wrote it. And it was dope because, you know, like us as black people, you can see in between the lines and all that stuff. And I like how they did that. The whole underlying thing, again, with not being preachy like they had in the interview, they said something about being on time, a certain percentage or something. And he corrected her. And she was like, oh, you pay attention. That meant she fucked the statement up to see if that man was paying attention. He like excels in everything they do. And it showed the line, like you were saying, you have to work twice as hard to get half the distances they do. And how he just takes that shit in stride because he's already over excelling. You know what I'm saying? And I love that shit. And it's just, I think to me, it made it a dope comic. I would definitely say check it out. And what you think, man? I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat the rest of these up after we get off the phone. I literally just read it before we got on. You sent it to me like days ago, and I've just been super busy at the hospital because, you know, it's goddamn and the Battle of Antietam in there right now.
That nigga's essential.
Shit is fucking crazy, bro. But yeah, man, I finally got in front of it, and you know, I zoomed through it. Like I tore it up, but I got all of that shit. Like you said, without being preachy or ham-fisted about, you know, a black man coming into that realm, and they didn't have to mention he was black. Like, he's black, and he's from Michigan, so he's more than likely from the D.
Read between the lines.
Reading between those lines, man, of just not even a struggle. You know what I mean? Like, he's just naturally talented and super strong, and like he's got a work ethic. Like, if that's one thing you can't hold. You got more education than me, but you don't work harder than me. You have not had your life has not been as difficult, I can assure you. So, like, just based off of osmosis, just of my life has been my training ground. So yeah, sure. Point this thing and shoot it. I got you.
He's ready for it, and that's the thing that's so dope about it, and it's just, I like how they did that. I like how they wrote that. They didn't make a really big deal about it. I started on number 2. It's pretty good. Also, another thing I wanted to say, the banter and like the talking they say in this it's so like fucking organic. It doesn't seem fake. It's just like, even like we were saying earlier, when Poe turned to about to do that shit, he was like, oh hell no. It wasn't extra. He didn't say no extra shit.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is that they didn't try to make him talk black. You know what I mean? Like, for what that, whatever, however you view that, it wasn't this whole thing of, trying to be hip, or he didn't call Poe a jive turkey or something like that. It was just he definitely got his blackness through the way he was talking. Just in the way, just say, like, as long as there's a paycheck in it, I'll believe anything. Like, I could hear that. Like, I've heard it before, like audibly, but when I read his lines, it's like, no, I can hear the black. I hear Phil Lamar.
And don't think about that. They underline that so you can't say like on some Slimer Coon shit, because earlier in the comic he had a construction job that he quit purely on the basis that his supervisor wasn't safe. He didn't care enough. So he was like, fuck it, I quit. So it's not like he won't just take any job. Yeah. He has fucking morals and standards, which I like. They low-key lightly touch on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even with the Midwest straight work ethic touched on that, and then he stands for shit. I like that shit a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very, very accurate portrayal.
I want to thank you for checking this out, reading this, man, and doing the episode for me, man.
Oh.
And, I want to thank y'all for listening to this, because this is something in addition that we'll be doing to our regular stuff, because soon as the quarantine start, I got hands to my man Bang. He started doing the Hunker in the Bunker.
Hunker in the Bunker, baby. That's what we're doing right now. You can go over there and check us out on the gram at ILA_POW, and on Twitter. I'm just getting jokes off on Twitter, so, but the show stuff is over there. We recently, the last episode is my man V, Mark, Rob, and my homeboy Mike Lemelic. They was just shooting shit about Tiger King and like some recent topics. The one before that, I got some friends together to talk about the Blerd God. So if you're looking for a way to spend 2 quality hours, we look up the celebrity Blerds, and we talk about who is most worthy to be the god of Blerds right now, celebrity wise, and the answer won't surprise you, but it feels so earned by the time we get there. So hopefully you check it out.
Check them out, man. Check them out, because if you like this podcast, you'll love that podcast. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? So
especially that episode.
Yeah, and then of course, if he's also with the Transformers episode, check that out. Robot Fish.
My nigga, Robot Fish.
That's gonna be my shirt if we ever get merch. I want Robot Fish.
Yeah, they got Robot Fish, but they got Robot Fish shirts, but we can do something ill with it. For real.
Yeah. So, we doing this in addition to our regular stuff, because we want to get y'all, something to listen to, people who quarantine. I know I'm in the D. It's crazy out here. It's almost on some ridiculous shit, the way the numbers and stuff is going. But as always, y'all, especially now, in times like now, when shit's going bad, or however you may feel, hell, you can be in quarantine, you know what I'm saying? They can cage your body, they can't cage your mind. Find you a book to read. We can read the Ghostbusters. At least if you don't read, I think it's up to 3 right now. Let's definitely start with 1. You can go online, because most comic book stores and places are closed. You can go online. I think Comixology, a lot of apps you can go, places you can go to get and download and buy comics. But just remember, you got comics, you got manga, anime, all that. You do not have to physically, mentally be in this world all the time. Take your mind somewhere and just deal. Relax, get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna leave it at that. This is a podcast called Fresh. My name is Miles Amadeus Prower, a.k.a. Deku's daddy. That is
Captain African America, baby.
Yeah, get it right. Don't want to sell him short. Captain African America. And we just going to end it here. Thank y'all for listening, man. And freedom.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. This has been a Hyphen Podcast Network production.
They're the bestest. I'm getting paid at exposure.
Bye-bye.